It's just a note. That's it. Next level. This right here is the C major triad from the C major scale. You can make this triad by taking the first, third, and the fifth of any scale and put them together. There's many kinds of chords that one can make, but the most basic one is the major and the minor one. To most people, this is just called the happy and the sad chord. You can also change it around. Pretty cool. A progression is when you put the triads together to create movement of emotion. In a scale, each note of the scale can be stacked to create their own chord. For this example, we will use the first, fourth, and fifth triad to create a progression, and it sounds like this. Sounds pretty good. Notice how we create a sense of tension and relief at the end. That is due to the relationship between the 5 and the 1 chord that can be stronger than love. Why, you ask? Well, that's because this note here wants to lead to this note here. If not, some progressions can be short and some can be long. Extended chords. Here's the part where it gets spicy. This is where you add other chords like the 7 or the 9 or many others. Based on what note you put in, you will get a different feeling, therefore creating a lot of interesting chords. Let's listen to this progression in the context of Amazing Grace. Tired of the chords coming in all at once? Let's put in some passing notes to make it smoother. Wanna tease the listeners a bit more? Well, let's add some suspensions, shall we? Let's put this chord over here, which we call the second dominant. What is that, you ask? Well, remember how I said that the 5-1 relationship is so strong that it creates tension? So what we did here is we take the 5th, which is the F major chord, and we take the 5th of that, which is the C major chord. Afterwards, we add the 7th to add more tension, and then we slide it back into the progression. Now, over here, we take the triad, which is usually the 1, 3, and 5. But here, we take the 3rd and replace it with the 4th. This creates a bit of tension and makes the listeners yearn for the 3rd. With all of that, let's listen to the new progression for Amazing Grace. Nice. Remember how we took the triads from the major and minor scales? Well, turns out there's many other scales out there, and they make interesting chords. Now, if all our progressions that we had were normal, this negative harmony progression is basically the parallel version of it. What you do is you take the chord and you invert it around the axis, creating another chord. Now, what's an axis, you may ask? For example, in a C major scale, the 1st and the 5th note is a C and a G, which when looking at the piano is 7 steps apart. Now we will take the middle of the 7 steps, which is 3.5. But since the 0.5 key does not exist, we will take the nearest keys, which is E and E flat. These two notes will now become your axis. So, if originally we were playing the F, which is 1 step above E, in negative harmony, we will take 1 step below the E flat, which is now the D. Find that confusing? Here's a diagram to show the conversions. If somehow you're still following, let's do all of that for a triad. Let's say we have an F, A, and C, or what we call the F major chord. If we run that through the diagram, we get a D, B flat, and G, or a G minor chord. Don't want to do this for all your chords? Don't worry. There's a diagram for that too. Side note, major chords turn into minor, while the minor chords turn into major. Now with any progression that we have, we can slide it through the diagram and get a negative progression, which is interesting.